Hey everyone, Christian here, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna rank all the MCU movies from worst to best. I have a few differences that some people have, because I know there's a consensus, but there are some movies on here that are objectively bad. And then there's some play that, it's personal preference. Thor: The Dark World, it's actually falling apart, the packaging. This list is pretty much would I watch it again. I had no interest ever to watch that movie again. Nothing really happens. They kind of introduced an Infinity Stone, and I feel like they didn't lean hard enough into the Lord of the Rings style. They were still kind of in the middle of superhero-y, fiction, Lord of the Rings. It was like 5 genres in one. That is a bland movie. It's the 3rd movie ever in the MCU. There were some cool visuals, like on the racetrack when he transforms. Not much to say other than it's not an interesting movie. The other thing that I didn't like about that movie is it kind of undoes everything the first movie did with Tony's character arc. He starts to be selfish and drink again, and he kind of has to relearn the same thing he learned in the first movie, so I feel like they didn't have any original ideas in that one. For me, Captain America: The First Avenger is cheesy. It's not the Captain America we see now, and I didn't really appreciate it that much. I know there are people that liked it as a period piece, but not for me, not my cup of tea. The 4th worst movie is Thor, number 1. It was a good first movie, and they really built Thor up. Chris Hemsworth acting in that is nothing compared to what it is now. Thor just didn't really do it for me. I know some people have that over us. Ant-Man was getting into my problem with Marvel now. These quirky, small budget little films that really don't, okay, I'm done watching superhero movies. I watched yesterday a movie about this guy. It's called Free Solo. It's a documentary of a guy climbing a mountain with no ropes. Those movies are way more interesting than these movies are, so I feel like they have to really get into the creative well like they used to with some of the top tier movies. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, to me, I've only seen it once, I will never see it again. Captain Marvel is just objectively bad. There's plot holes, there's things that don't make sense. It ruins the continuity. It retcons the continuity in a negative way. Wouldn't it have been better to get a Scarlet Witch movie? Like, can you imagine Thanos kills the Vision and she's all pissed off and she's just raged out, and then you lead right into her solo backstory and then pump her up. It can lead right into her going crazy. They can introduce the X-Men. It would be perfect. And I'm like, why didn't they do that? That would have been awesome. So my 7th least favorite movie is The Incredible Hulk from 2008. I have a real soft spot for this movie. I watched it over and over again when I had my wisdom teeth pulled out. If I go back now and watch it, will I like it as much? Maybe not. If you take the CGI away and you really look and you imagine Mark Ruffalo on Edward Norton's face, I think it's a pretty cool movie. Doctor Strange, to me, was... Some people love the visuals. I would have liked it more if they really leaned into the wizardry. Show me different dimensions. Show me demonic beings. Show me floating... almost make it like Harry Potter style. But they kind of toe the line between the genre they're going for, a mix, and the superhero genre. I don't need Dormammu in the first movie. I don't need a necessary villain. Show him exploring that world and learning his power. The Avengers: Age of Ultron. I felt Ultron wasn't a wasted villain. In the comics, he's scary. In this movie, in the execution, they made him like a man. There are things to like in the movie. It's a big action blockbuster, but it was on TV the other day. I watched a quarter of it, and I was like, I'm done. I kind of know what happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was an improvement on Ant-Man. I thought the visuals are great. Love Evangeline Lilly. She's my woman crush Wednesday. Kind of introduced the quantum realm and things that might show up later. So I thought it was an improvement, and it was a step in the right direction. Personally, I love Marvel characters that are down to earth. Daredevil, Winter Soldier, Black Panther. They didn't expand on his real powers. They gave him like that purple power suit that exploded. Like, I would have loved them going into his stealth boots, his energy sword and all that, and energy dagger. I feel like there's potential with him for like a Kraven Part 2. Pacing was great, and it was a solid movie. Spider-Man: Homecoming inks in the top 10 for me. It was a good movie. I liked the Vulture. I loved the twist that they had in that movie. The pacing was a little issue. It kind of dragged in the middle, personally, but other than that, it was a great movie. You're probably wondering how this movie made it so far up, considering I really didn't like it a lot of people didn't like it when it first came out, is Iron Man 3.
We are leaving the house. That's not even up for discussion. Can we,
What?
do we need to worry about that?
This movie is underrated gold. It got overshadowed completely by the Avengers before it. No one liked a twist in this movie, and then Guardians and Winter Soldier after it completely overshadowed it. The cinematography, this movie 5-6 years ago, it has better visuals and cinematography than Captain Marvel does 6 years later. Watching it now with all that clarity and knowing what's to come, it's really fun. All right, number 8, I guess, would be Thor Ragnarok. This movie is here out of just straight respect. Just what they did with the character and going into Infinity War, and really just, this is a character piece done right. The whole middle to end is amazing, from when they're on Sakaar, escaping all the way into the final battle. Kind of relaunched the character. I'm wondering what's going to happen with him later, if he's going to die in Endgame or what. Captain America Civil War. I felt the stakes were not as important. When you have Iron Man punching Captain America, they're obviously pulling their punches. It was a fine movie. I have mixed feelings on it, but I'd rather watch some of those other movies that you'll see later on. Iron Man 1 is there just because of the sheer quality of people in front of it. It was a great Phase 1 movie. It's the best Phase 1 movie. As you notice, most of the Phase 1 movies are in the bottom half. Needless to say, Iron Man 1 came out in 2008 with The Dark Knight. It got overshadowed by that. The visuals hold up in many places. Okay, now we're into the top 5. I have number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. My 4th favorite is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I know Guardians 1 is highly regarded and Guardians 2 is mixed. To me, Guardians 1 is a great movie and Guardians 2 is even better. I've watched Guardians 2 like 10, 15 times. It's amazing. Top 3. Now we're getting into some heat. Most people agree on the top 5. It's just the ordering. And for me, this movie, Avengers, was number 1 for a long, long time. This movie dove me in, and a lot of people, into the MCU. It doesn't hold up as well, unfortunately. It kind of is like a TV style movie. You compare even Avengers 1 to Iron Man 3, the cinematography is like on another level. So for some reason, I don't know if it was the director or the production team, I don't know what, but it doesn't hold up as well visually. Captain America's suit looks kind of lame in hindsight, but overall I love the movie, and it's the reason all this exists. So my second favorite movie is Captain America the Winter Soldier. This thing just holds up. It's like Jason Bourne meets Captain America. When I talk about some of the problems I had with the other movies, I felt like they didn't lean too hard into the genre they were trying to go for. So Doctor Strange didn't lean too hard into the Harry Potter genre. Ant-Man didn't lean so hard into the heist genre. They kept holding on to their superhero route. Captain America fully leans into that spy espionage thriller, the mystery. I'm a sucker for Earthbound characters, and it really holds up. I can watch this today and it'll be more exciting than some of the new stuff that came out. So it was a really good movie. It was the Russo brothers' first attempt. I feel like they fumbled a little with Civil War, and then they returned for the number 1.
I know it feels like all hope is lost. Together, we can kill Thanos.
The way Marvel's going, I'm not even sure if Endgame will be good. I'm not sure. They might try to cram too much of Phase 4. They might be saying, okay, we need to shoehorn Captain Marvel in, shoehorn all these people in. I don't know until I see it. But the Russo brothers really outdid themselves on this movie. I was nervous after Civil War because I said Civil War was good, but it was missing that Infinity War had it. It was an awesome movie. It didn't feel cheesy. They made Thanos really awesome. The action is amazing. Are some characters criminally underpowered? Yes. Hulk is criminally underpowered. Scarlet Witch is criminally underpowered. Even like Drax and people like that. And even Doctor Strange. They're just really underpowered. You have to do it in this universe to make it flow. I felt like they gave enough characters their due, and it's just a fantastic movie. It's beautiful, and it's a love letter to the MCU. It really is. Those are my top 21 films. I want you to do this right now. Look at me. I want you to scroll down to the comments and list at least your top 10. I know 21 would be kind of hard and time consuming, but list your top 10 Marvel films of all time. List your top 3. Tell me where I got it right. Tell me where I got it wrong. And I will see you when I see you, which will probably be closer to Endgame. Peace.